Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting, monthly meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. This is Monday, May 6th. I'll stand in for Ralph
Until he
comes until he gets here. I'm Barbara Pine, Vice Chair of the Commission, and with us tonight as commissioners is Jack Penders, Rose Dostert, Judy Sullivan, Sue Robbins, John
That's okay.
Jagelski, and our clerk, Kathy Stewart, and our Director of Parks and Recreation, Rick Maynard. We'll begin with the public forum, and I see that we have a guest. Would you introduce yourself? Oh, you're just watching this? Okay, very good. Didn't want to not give you a chance to speak if you were, okay, so there being no one here to speak in the public forum, I'd ask if there are any questions about the staff and director reports.
I had a question.
Okay, Sue?
Let me see if I can find it. For Ellen, summer registration says over 800 enrollments with 72% being completed online. How do those numbers look this year compared to last year at this time?
Well, we're actually early. We started registration about a month earlier, so good.
Yeah, that's good then.
Yeah, because normally we start registration around the first week in May, like around now, for summer registration. We did start about a month earlier. So we're in good shape right now. I mean, generally in the summer we have probably around 1,500. You know, it depends how camp registration goes. And even that one is going fairly well. You know, I mean, we're nowhere near filled yet. You know, we can't. But I didn't check for it in the last week or so. But a week or two ago, we had some weeks we had 25 to 30 kids sign up already for some of the sessions. So we're pleased with that.
Good.
Anybody else have questions about any of the staff reports or Rick's director report?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, go.
I'm on a roll.
That's okay.
Number 9, you have that you met with the group and with Unified Sports. And I didn't know if maybe you could give some details on how that meeting went and what kind of things you were planning or.
It's really we started the Unified Sport Program. We conducted it last year. It was really started by Bill Wallach years ago, I think, at Baldwin School. And I believe Lakes has a program now too, I think, right?
Yeah, they do, yes.
Is it Phyllis Hobson's doing it there? Or Rich Bello? Or?
Rich Bello?
Yeah. And so last year's program was so successful, we wanted to do it again. We met with Kim Beckett, as it says here, and Bill Wallach. Lou Pear is actually in Ellen's report, I forgot where he's from. He's involved with providing grants for Unified Sports. And so they're going to give us, I believe it's a $2,000 grant again this year, seed money to get it going. And then Ellen and I met with Ginny Brown. It's spelled wrong here.
Yeah,
it's Ginny Brown. We met with her about a little over a week ago. And she's the new director of the Special Pupil Services there. And she was very supportive of the program. Ellen created a flyer which we sent to her, and they're going to get it out to all the special needs population in town, in the school system.
Okay, that was my question. Whatever was decided, they'll make sure that gets disseminated to everybody. Okay.
Yeah. And we also met with Ginny Brown also about Camp Monocatuck, because we haven't gotten we didn't think enough support in the school system for that program to let parents know that's another alternative to the program that's offered at Leach School in the summer. And we wanted to be sure that at least parents know there's another choice if they want. For some kids, probably being at the school is a good option.
Right.
But for some, the beach is a good option too. And so we wanted to just make sure parents are aware there are two options.
Okay.
And so she was very supportive of that.
Oh, good.
So we're excited about that program. It went really well last year. I can't remember what the numbers were, but they were good.
I remember it went well. It was really, you guys did a great job with
Yeah.
it.
And
it was
Rachel
well received.
Rachel Narducci was our intern last year, and she still works with us with preschool programs. And so she wanted to come back and be involved with that again this year.
Nice.
So she'll be helping us oversee it from the department's standpoint.
So just for the record, that both programs, the camp program, the special camp program, and the Unified Sports, that's for children with special needs, right?
Well, Camp Monocatuck, of course, for everybody, but
For
we want to make
everybody.
sure that parents are aware we do allow special needs
Sure.
kids as part of that program. Unified Sports is special needs, but they're typical peers, like buddies of kids that are about the same age, supposed to be working. So if it's a second grader, we'd like to get a
Pairs.
second grader to pair up with them. So that's how it's being promoted through the flyers that we're doing, that we're looking for both.
Yeah, it's a great program.
Yeah.
You know, it really has been
And
very
we're thankful
successful.
for the grant that we got for it too last year and this year, so it helps pay for much of it. And we are charging a fee, which I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but I mean, typically with every program, there's a fee anyway. And
Right.
speaking with Kim Beckett, who is, is a strong advocate, she thought it was very reasonable for us to charge a fee, just like any other program.
Mhm. Good, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Number 12 on the Fields Committee walkthrough.
Mhm.
Was there anything special that stood out that needed to have immediate attention, or that we need to plan for some work in within the next 12 months?
Yeah, some minor stuff. I mean, there's some areas that we're gonna obviously seed. Some of it we have seeded already since, before we did the field walk anyway. No, overall, the field's looking pretty good shape. I was up at Bidner, let me see, Monday last week, Thursday, I think, or Wednesday. I was at Long Hill today, and the fields are looking really, really good. I mean, now, if we get a little rain, they'll look better. We can use them right now, but they're green, and we've been starting our fertilizing program now. We've seeded some areas. No major issues with the field committee, just some of the typical maintenance stuff we typically do anyway.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is correspondence, but seeing none in the packet, unless some came in late. Rick, nothing?
No.
Okay. So then to item 4, the approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of April 1st? Okay. Second?
Second.
Any questions?
No.
Revisions? Yes, Jim?
Yeah, I call your attention to page 3. Under the approval of the minutes, the draft indicates that Penders abstained since he was not present at the March meeting. I wasn't present because I was not a member of this commission.
Hard to be present.
So you can either delete my name or just say he was not a member or not yet a member.
Okay.
I didn't exist.
Well, I mean, the fact is you abstained, but there's no necessarily the reason why. Well, yeah, you weren't present.
Right.
I don't know how Kathy would like to handle that. Leave it as it is?
I mean, I would.
Is it a problem because it looks as if you missed a meeting?
That's right.
Okay.
And attendance counts.
And attendance counts, okay. You're looking for the perfect Sunday school, perfect attendance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get a pin
Commission,
at the end of the
okay,
year.
you'll win, Jack.
That's about all I learned.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other additions or corrections to the minutes? No. Okay. Approval of the minutes? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody? No?
We abstained. I was not here.
Yeah, I will abstain too, because I truly was not here.
And I was not here as well.
Okay. So that's Sue and Barbara abstaining. Approval of bills. Rick, since we just got them, we just had a
Yeah,
chance to go over them.
it is a different format. This is because the finance department has been tied up with some other issues, and so they did not give us a list of bills for this month, but I didn't want to not have you approve something, because, we don't want these vendors to have to wait another month
Yeah.
before they get paid. So Bonnie just typed up a list. It's not by category or anything. And I will tell you one thing, there was a duplicate. You see John Deere, see all those John Deere? Two of them, $697.52, delete one of those.
Okay.
So
And
the
then-
bottom line, at the bottom now, the total will be $33,964. And this is a lot lower than what our monthly bills normally are, but it doesn't include all the, the wages that are always listed in there.
Okay.
Utility bills are not in here.
Okay.
That all, we get from town hall, so, but these are the bills that Bonnie had, and again, I wanted to make sure we presented something, so we don't have to, again, make these people wait for another month before they get paid.
Sure. Who is J-Pro?
Yeah, J-Pro is,
That's what was
and that, some of that's gonna
Oh,
get,
sorry.
I think I asked you to approve it, but I think some of that's gonna get paid by reimbursables. We should have divided it up, but J-Pro is, we had to order soccer and field hockey goals that got damaged by the hurricane, so some of them, we're also gonna get reimbursed from FEMA for some of this. So,
Yeah, because
um,
some were rusted, so that didn't count as FEMA reimbursement, but other things were.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
the-
So these were things that were, some of them were damaged. The goals that we got, soccer and field hockey, those are FEMA. We also are replacing the basketball backboards at Adams that are rusted. It has nothing to do with FEMA, it's just they're rusted,
Right.
we need to replace them. And the bases, baseball bases, which we order every year anyway. And we got, I think 10 sets, 5 sets we charge off to the high school, because they're for the high school program, and they reimburse us for that. So the bottom line is, we're not gonna be paying all this. We have to pay it out, but we're gonna get reimbursed for some, a good
Okay,
portion
all
of
right.
it. And the commercial air one, that was the final payment for the condensing units, the 3 units that were, it was a $70-something thousand project. And it's completed, and the engineering firm that we had hired to write the specs and kind of keep an eye on the project, they approved the final payment. So hopefully we have.
Yes, everything is working fine?
Well, they ran through it. We haven't been tested really yet, because we haven't had the hot days yet, but
They'll be coming.
it's gonna work, I hope.
Motion to approve the bills as in the total presented, or,
So moved?
okay, second?
Second.
All in favor? So the bills are approved in the amount of $33,964.
Correct.
Okay, item 6, old business, the Standing Fields Committee.
The Long Hill Park drainage project is complete as of last Thursday. That's why I was out there today walking the field. Again, we haven't had rain yet, so it hasn't been tested to see if it's draining well. But they finished Thursday. I know Ralph told me he had a game there Friday with the freshman high school baseball team, and he said, we didn't even know they were there. I mean, it's just like, it was great. The field was good. It's good condition. So we'll be paying the final bill to them soon. I haven't gotten it yet, but once we get that, that'll go over. And then, we talked about the field walk. I was going to mention that, but we walked all the fields with the field committee, and they have their list of some of the things to do. But again, most of them are things, many of them we've already done, or things that are, we do this time of year. And then Paul Schmidt is working on a design for a drainage project at Baldwin School. He hasn't gotten that yet, but there is some money that's still in this year's budget for that project. And so we have to get the design for it, and we gotta do it soon, because we gotta start the project before the end of June. Or because it's capital, I'll find out, we might be able to carry that over, because it's capital money, but we don't wanna lose it.
No.
Barbara, do you want me to close that shade? 'Cause it looks
I
like
think it's going to drop
it's
in a
right in your
second.
eyes.
That's quick.
Okay, 6B, Sue, Jacob's
Okay,
Beach
Jacob's
project?
Beach. Well, everything's looking great. I'm sure you guys have taken a little tootle down there and checked it. Rick is there every day, of course. But Rick met with Will Thompson, the architect, and John Cunningham, the landscape architect. And I know they went through and did a meeting of the minds. Trees have been delivered, and they're down there waiting to be planted. And then also Rick had met with Will and Ellen about the bathroom project, so they're working on that in tandem with the Boy Scout that is gonna work on it. Schumacher Mac, the contractor, is about halfway through with his work. And so, in a lot of projects, the last quarter is where you're gonna see most of the, visuals. So really, over the next 3 weeks, there should be some really significant changes that when you go down, it's not just a lot of moved dirt and underneath kind of stuff. You're really gonna pull up and say, oh, whoa, it's gonna look really different. So it's looking good. I think everything's going well. It's, we haven't had any problems, and it's moving along.
There may be a change order that we'll probably discuss with the subcommittee. The grass area between the picnic shelters and the basketball court, it's not much grass there. And a lot of that, you can still see the salt sitting on top of the dirt there from when the water covered over there. And so I think Will had sent a request to the contractor to give us a proposal for bringing in whatever amount of loam, raise it up a little bit, because it's also dipped
Pull it
areas
out.
there, so the water just sits there in puddles. So to level that out and then seed it, and we haven't gotten that yet, what that cost will be. we'll bring it at least to the subcommittee when, that, we'll make a decision, we want to propose going that direction. But as you said, Sue, it's coming along very nicely.
Yeah, and also, I didn't mention before that the beach cleaner is out to bid.
Yes, it is. Yeah, bid
May
opening is
16th, I
May
think.
16th.
So, that's a anticipated item to come in so that we can really get that going.
Is that likely to come in time for like the opening of the beach and?
It depends, I think it depends which company gets the bid. There's one that's more local that probably has them right in stock. There's one that's like out in Minnesota, I think. And there's another one that's, it might be California, I'm not sure where. There are 3 companies I know of that sell these products, and we've sent the bids to all 3 of them. Of course, it was advertised in the newspaper and the website too. So depending who gets it might determine how fast we get it. But we're hoping that we can have it, our target opening is June 14th. So our goal is to have it before then and be able to clean the beach up.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, will this beach cleaner be dedicated just to Jacobs, or will you take it up to Lake Quantico too, or?
Yeah, we probably don't need it so much at Quantico, but Daniel Avenue Beach, we'd use it there. We can use it on ball fields because it has, well, depending again which one we get, the one we spec has tines. You can take the weeds out of the infield of the ball fields. You can dethatch with it. So, yeah, it can be used for multiple places. But Jacobs will be the primary place, and we'll get to Daniel Avenue with it also.
Wouldn't Shell Beach also be a place? Or is that hopelessly Shell?
That might be too much.
That, yeah.
Hence the
Race the
name.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, hence the name.
Maybe after you own it a few years,
Yeah.
I'll try.
Do that.
Named appropriately.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks.
Rosie, would you ask
That was my
something?
question,
Oh,
actually. I
okay.
was wondering how we were coming with the beach cleaning machine.
Yeah.
so.
That's a key. But I'll tell you something, though. If you go down there now on the water side of where the silt fence is, it's some pretty good sand there
It
now.
does, it looks pretty good.
Sandy brought some good sand in. It's
Yeah.
not so bad right
Thank you,
now.
Madison.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, item 6C, the Chittenden Park Boardwalk.
Yeah, only thing new on that is a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now, Will had a soils company there doing the soil test. That's completed. I'm not sure the exact results that he has, just some scientific figures that he has. You need to do that to determine what is the base of the piers for the boardwalk, just like at Jacobs Beach, you had to do the same thing. And depending on the type of soils, shows how deep or how extensive you have to go with the anchoring for the boardwalk there. Interesting thing, though, that I discovered today, Claire Kane from the Connecticut Forest and Park Association, Paul knows her well, she was writing an article or something for, I guess, one of her magazines about this project, and she asked me if we knew who the Chittenden family was that the park was named after. So I called Joel Heelner, figuring, in a blink of an eye, he would know, and he said, I don't know, but I know where you can find it. And he said, it's in a brochure that we have, that I had an intern make about the history of our parks about 15 years ago, and he remembered that. So I pulled it out. It didn't have that information, but what it did have, interestingly, it talked about when the land was purchased by the town, and there was a bridge that spanned from the grassy area to the beach. So basically, we're just putting back what was there.
Wow.
Very interesting. I
What
never
year
knew
was that purchased? Do you remember?
Oh, boy. I think it was said it was, there was a 1945 and a 1963. I believe the land was something around 45, something like that. I think 63, it said additional land was purchased from neighbors or something down
Okay.
there.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Probably would be good to keep track of that, because when they have the boardwalk opening in June of 2014,
Yeah.
there'll probably be speeches, and that information will be important
Yeah.
for somebody,
Track down.
probably you,
It
to
said-
provide.
It said there was a bathhouse there too at one
Yeah.
time.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
A bathhouse?
It says there was a bathhouse there too.
Jack?
Rick, I think there was a Chittenden on that boat that came over, that landed in 1638.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
would
At
be
least
in,
one.
yeah.
wouldn't that be in Joel's history, the book, the history of
I
Guilford
he-
book?
He said he could find it, he'd be able to
I'll
get
find
it.
it.
The
It's
first
It's
one.
online, I know.
The first one,
Do you know?
yeah. Paul,
If I may add.
please.
I contacted Janet Dudley.
Mhm.
She is or was a Chittenden.
Chittenden.
And I asked her if there's a possibility if she could do some research on her part. And she said she'd be ecstatic to do it.
Excellent.
So we'll be getting information about that because we do want to have something for the ribbon cutting and the dedication about Chittenden Park. And we like to have everything that we possibly can get about the history of it. And it is true, Chittendens were on the original covenant. So,
I
So
don't
they're-
know that from first-hand information.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, they received a land grant at some point from that, from their being part of that.
I would imagine
Yeah.
so.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought the boardwalk, I think, was pretty interesting. There was a
Yeah.
bridge there at one time.
On the boardwalk, Rick, it's going from the grassy area near the softball field, and then it goes onto the beach.
To the
Yeah, there's a marshy area there.
Marshy,
It
yeah.
just crosses the marsh.
Is it gonna be elevated?
Minorly, I don't think it's gonna be elevated too much. I'm not sure, what the height's gonna be. It's gonna have a gentle slope to it, because there is a little bit of the way the
Gradual
beach is
pitch.
now, it does go up a little bit. It has to be handicap accessible, so you have to have a gentle ride, it can't.
Well,
it's gotta
it could be an
meet ADA
incline. Yeah, because I've
requirements.
noticed over the years, though, that when the boardwalk was flat on the surface of the ground, it just became filled with water. And not under extraordinary conditions.
Well, there has been a boardwalk. There have been people throwing boards down and pallets
Well,
and
there-
things like that. This is
Pallets,
gonna be an
yeah.
actual constructed
Mhm.
boardwalk. Will's got that all figured out. I don't know, Paul, if you remember, because you've been at some of those meetings too. It's a slight
The only thing
elevation,
that
but not
I'm-
much.
Which I'm concerned about is the actual platform itself, the observation platform. It's going to be approximately 1 foot above the surface of the sand dune.
Right.
But DEEP requires a certain leverage or space below what exists and the boardwalk itself. So I don't remember what those specifications
Will.
are.
Will has it. I'm not sure what it is.
Cool. Okay. The 375th anniversary celebration of the town of Guilford.
There's some people here. They're on some of the committees.
Suzanne?
Tomorrow, we have a meeting.
Yes.
Yes, we have a meeting. I actually missed last month's, but
Which are you on, Suzanne?
I am on the community center, the activities in the community center.
Mhm.
So hence why I asked you about the skating rink.
Oh, right.
Use that we're trying to put together
New
some
Year's Eve
activities
day, right?
for New Year's Eve. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rose, you're on
The ball.
the ball. Okay. Anything to report there?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Same for me, I'm on the boardwalk and charter group, but I haven't done anything. I guess we need to, did you just get in touch with the chair and tell them that you were the Park and Rec representative? Is that how you
No,
did it?
actually, I've been on it since before, so I just sort of became the park and
I
rec
see, okay,
person.
okay.
Barbara, I'm on the boardwalk committee as well as the charter committee.
It's the same, it's Carl Balistraci.
Carl and also Paul with the other end of it.
Oh,
But-
okay.
But I was on it before I became a member of this commission.
Oh, okay. So we have a
We have two.
representative.
Yeah.
We have,
Three.
and I also
Okay.
said I would help out with New Year's, so yeah, so
Okay.
we're pretty well
May I
covered.
add one more?
Certainly,
which I
Paul.
think is very important. For the National New England Trail, which is, the Monongahtuck is the section of the National Trail coming through Guilford from the north to the south or vice versa. That is all completed now as far as blazing, and it's right down at Chittenden Park. So a lot of people are curious, and I think there will be some type of an article in the papers coming to be. But it's we call them blazes. They're blue blazes, approximately 2 inches by 6 inches. And they're either marked on trees or the utility poles, so that there will be a pathway. It's follow the dot, so to speak. So that's completed now.
Paul, what is the path through Guilford? If I were to start at Chittenden, which we're thinking as the terminus, where would it go?
You would go up Seaview to Whitfield, which then becomes Old Whitfield. That goes up and over the Amtrak railroad station. Also, it passes the the Whitfield Stonehouse Museum. It goes to Whitfield and Boston Street, stays on the south side of Boston Street. At Lover's Lane, it becomes a loop. It'll go down Lover's Lane, back to the Stonehouse Museum. So that becomes one loop. Further on, as you're going up Boston Street from Lover's Lane, it crosses the Post Road, goes down Tanner Marsh, veers onto Clapboard Hill, and then it goes into the East River Preserve, and it just keeps going north on all open space and public or land trust properties, right up. And then if you don't have anything to do one week, you can hike the 220 miles. But it's set up that there is a loop, what I discussed in the beginning, there's a loop of 2.5 miles for those who just want to walk that are coming to town, or those who walk just about every day. They can say now that they're walking the National New England Trail, and it's good for tourism.
Yeah, I've seen the blazes on the, some of them are blue with green, is that?
That's an alternate in order to make the actual loop, so people will not be mystified of what happened to the regular blue trail. That will go down Lover's Lane to Stonehouse Lane, and then further on. But that blue with the green bar is to complete that circle or that loop.
It's a great idea because it brings it to the green, so
Yeah.
hikers coming through and get to see our beautiful town green too.
Is there a website that has the plot of the trail through Guilford?
Yes, there is a rough map, and now that it's been basically connected, the map will be updated, and we'll have points of interest on it. One thing that we're very proud of is that it touches 5 of the museums. I mean, 3 of the museums, 3 out of 5, and that's a great achievement within itself. This trail is doing a lot of firsts that other national trails do not have. So again, Guilford shines.
Nice. Okay, thank you. The Land Acquisition Commission. It was canceled for this month, so to reconvene next month. Okay. Did you have a conversation about the property
Yeah,
from the prior meeting, though?
It's
So the
it's no
April
longer,
meeting.
it's taken off the market.
Okay.
I met up there with Steve
Yeah.
and Kevin McGee a few weeks ago, and it's no longer on the market, the property we were looking at.
Okay.
Okay. Eagle Scout projects, Jacob's Bathhouse and Bocce Courts. I have to say, we've been so fortunate in the work of the Scouts.
I know, it's amazing.
They are awesome.
And there are 2 more. 2 more in addition to this. There's another young man, Luke Malinowski, who's going to be installing a flagpole at Jacobs Beach. And I just got another young man today, I forgot his name now, I just got an email today. He's looking for a project. And I had the honor of going to Court Chapman's Court of Honor, a lot of puns in there, Court of Honor for Court Chapman, where he got his Eagle badge. He's the one that did one of the boat racks down at Jacobs, and it was a couple Saturdays ago here. And very, very big turnout. I mean, the Guilford room was pretty much packed with people that came to support him. A lot of scouts and former Eagle Scouts and people, adults like older who were Eagle Scouts years ago, and kids, and I got to say a few words there, but I told them I'm impressed at the number of kids that stay in Boy Scouts
That long.
up to that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this could be a little challenging, it's not, a lot of guys don't do it, when they're 16, 17 years old. And they just put out so many kids. And I think is a great tribute to the leadership
it
of
is.
the Scouts in the community that they stay in that long and participate. And, we've been a great beneficiary of that
Mhm.
because of all these projects.
Yeah.
And I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 of the boat racks down at Jacobs Beach have been built by Eagle Scouts and their troops. And now the Jacobs Bathhouse, JT Hickey's going to be doing that. I just spoke with him again today. I think he's going to start doing some work tomorrow. And what they're doing, he's going to be doing is painting the interior, painting the ceiling, and installing the new dividers,
Partitions.
which are now being ordered. And the skylights are ordered. I think they'll be here probably, I think Will just told me, probably next week they'll be put in.
Yeah.
So the bathhouse is probably going to be finished by Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, good.
It may not be open yet because we're not officially open, but I think it has to be because I think that JT Hickey has to have he has to complete it by his 18th birthday, which I think is like May 27th or something. So,
18 is 18.
yeah, so
There's no bending
Last
rules.
minute.
there's a little fire going there to get it done, so we've been doing everything, Will and I have been doing everything we can to make sure we have what has to be in place so he can get it done. So that's exciting. In the bocce court, Court Chapman's younger brother, Mike Chapman, is doing that. I know I think he finally got all of his approvals that he had to get from the scouts. We approved it here, the commission approved it quite a while ago. And then he had to go through a lot of steps, on the scouting end. And so he's going to be replacing the boards on the existing courts, reloving those a bit, and then building a 5th court. Probably, we think it's going to be mid-June is going to be doing that. So that's coming. And as I mentioned, Luke Malinowski's doing a flagpole, and this other young man today. We're kind of running out of projects out at Jacobs Beach. He wants to paint a building, so I suggested, I just happened, went on Long Hill today, noticed the barn there really needs some paint. But I'm also trying to steer him in another direction, possibly. All the arborvitaes at the bocce court down at Chittenden, I think, are dead, and there are maybe 10 of them. So I suggest another possibility, if he wants to replace those, that we would buy them. If he wants to do the labor, taking the old ones out and planting new ones and watering them for a while to make sure they grow. So I just sent him an email late this afternoon, so I'll hear back if he's interested in that project.
Do we have any needs at Quantipac at all?
For years, that's where this focus was for all the scout groups. They've done a lot up there. They built a picnic pavilion up there. Almost any improvements on the upper level, the scouts have done. And they use it a lot too. There are a lot of campouts up there, with their troops. And there's a Cub Scout group there, I think, coming up in May sometime, I think, camping out there. So I think everything up there is kind of scouted out. Project out, they've done such a great job there.
Yeah, they do.
And Jacobs, we've had so much input from or help from the scouts there, and so we got to start looking at some other areas. But like I said, they got so many of these guys coming up. It's great for us, but I'm kind of running out of ideas. So if any of you can think of something too at some point, let me know. But I think we're good for at least the 3 that are coming up right now. We have projects for them.
Okay. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about later at the end of our meeting is the park walk that we always do as a commission, and perhaps when we do that, we'll get some more ideas so that you can be at the ready when the next scout comes.
Yeah.
For the record, the subcommittee on Jacobs Beach project was really keen to do the improvements as soon as possible in the bathhouse, because clearly the public, that was one sort of sore area, if you will.
Right.
So it's really great that we pushed ahead and that we got this Eagle Scout project going. So that's just great.
It will be greatly improved. I think the push was, a lot of people didn't realize, they kept saying, why can't you take it down and redo it? But you can't because of the restrictions with FEMA.
Mm-hmm.
So the second best thing is to, redo it and re-beautify it, and it is going to be remarkably better. I mean, it's not going to be the same building.
Right.
So
Right.
it isn't a new one, but it really will be new.
Yeah.
It will look new.
The interior can look
It will
much
look
different.
nothing like it does now.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Message TV at Community Center, what is that?
Well,
It
it's
looks
up and
great.
running.
Awesome.
You can go
It's great.
leave tonight. You can come in, if you come in the front door. That's the big
Yeah.
screen
It's
TV
up
we
on
have
the-
up
I
there.
must have had my head down.
And that we got the approval, I think, last month for that. And what that is going to, and you'll be happy, Barbara, because you don't like clutter. It's going to replace those whiteboards.
Okay.
The mess, we
Yes,
write down. So it's programmed. So Ella can program it for the whole week. So even on the weekends, it's pre-programmed, so it runs. but it's like if you go to the airport and you see the flights that are coming in or whatever, it has a scroll of what's going on in every room, what time, you know, it says Parks and Rec Commission meeting, 7 o'clock, walk in your room. On the right side, then there's a sort of big screen on the left that has special events. So we have the fireworks listed up there already. That we're looking for. We're doing fundraising for the fireworks. Any donations we're accepting. So we have fireworks this year. I think
Furniture.
probably if it's not up yet, the fishing derby will be up, which is this Saturday if we don't get rained out. Senior events, you know, any special events that we're doing are flashing up on the screen there. So
Looks great.
had a lot of compliments from people already
It does.
on it.
Let's
New
see, new business. Beach fees for guests. Rick, I know that you put together a proposal for that, but do you want to give us a little background on
Sure.
Why that has become an issue?
Well, going back a few years, the beach passes used to have 12 guests on it, where you could bring a guest 12 times or 12 guests, whatever. There were punches, so when you brought a guest to Lake Quannapock, the gate guards would punch a hole in your pass, and so you knew that you used up one of your guests. And at that time, if they used up the 12 guests, then they'd have to either just pay for the guests after that. That was eliminated a couple years ago. I can't remember exactly why. I think part of it was that there were some people taking advantage of that. Yeah, non-residents were bringing sometimes in a lot of people, like maybe 10 people saying they're all, you know, their kids or part of their group or whatever. And so we had some residents complain about that, you know, gee, we're paying, and we got non-residents not paying and they're paying but bringing all these kids in. So we did away with that, but now we're having some complaints on the other side that, and I think we talked about this one year, where grandparents could bring their grandchildren up to age 5 or whatever, and they were free or $2 or something. But I got a letter, I think it was the end of last beach season, it was late August, early September maybe,
You
from a
presented
resident.
it to us.
I think I did,
You
right?
did.
Yeah.
And we said that we'd address it, this year, and so here we are this year, and I thought, gee, we got to talk about this. And so, I guess if somebody has a beach pass, and let's say you have a couple kids, they want to be able to the kid wants to bring their next door neighbor. Ellen and I were talking about this. Yeah, should we charge them for that, or if they got a beach pass, why don't we? You can bring a guest, and we don't have the punches. We can't. The beach passes are already here. We can't change those, put those
Right.
punch things on it for this year. But Ellen actually wrote this up. I said, look, make a proposal. We'll talk about it at the commission. What do you think? And she and I talked about it a little bit. And we thought that it was reasonable if somebody brings a guest under age 12, our recommendation is they're free. And not just senior citizens, anybody. I think
Fair
last
enough.
year we talked about a grandchild, but what about somebody who's 42 and wants to, their kid wants to bring a
Right.
guest or something?
Absolutely.
So this is only if they have a beach pass. And other
Right.
than if they don't have a beach pass, they pay the daily fee.
Per person.
Per person, right. And then, again, Ellen's recommendation was over 13, maybe it's a $5 per person fee. So it's you got a beach pass, you already paid for the pass, you bring a guest, instead of being $7, maybe it's 5. They want to talk about for non-residents. She didn't put non-residents, but non-residents usually pay more. Like, right now, a resident daily fee is $7, a non-resident is 10. So non-residents also can purchase beach passes at twice the cost. But do we want to just make it standard, no matter who they are, it's a $5 fee, or do we charge something else for non-residents, or do you even agree with the concept of the direction we're looking at here?
Discussion?
How easy is it going to be to enforce?
That's what
We're
I'm
gonna
knowing.
have a
This is
lot of
complicated
kids
now.
12 going to the beach.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a little hard. I think now I think kids under 5 have been free, I believe, anyway. And, if somebody's 6, don't ask for an ID. And
Yeah, we have to trust people too.
it's a little
deeply.
hard. But, are some people going to figure a way around it?
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
you know,
But I think, and I talked to Ralph a little bit about this, I think before we had this specific proposal here, but I think he also liked the idea that, it's still difficult economic times for people. We can provide, we still got to have revenue for the town. We were required to bring revenue in. And I don't think we're decreasing the revenue. Really, we're just allowing people, if they want to bring a guest, they can bring a guest. And I think that's all we're suggesting.
Just to clarify, there's not gonna be, got a little lost in all your details. So there's not gonna be the pass any longer where everyone gets 12?
Right, still have a pass, but not the punch-out things.
Right, not the punch out. And so every time you bring a guest, these are the
That's
expectations.
what we're
Right.
suggesting, yeah.
And that's for both residents and non-residents. It'll be
Correct.
consistent across.
We-
So it's
we-
not so complicated.
We can't have the
As a
same-
Non-resident, resident.
We have to have the same rule for
Yeah.
residents as not, we could charge non-residents more.
Yeah.
You know, we can do that, but we
Couldn't prevent them from bringing
can't
a
prevent them
guest.
from bringing guests,
Right.
correct?
No, right. So that's what I was asking. The fee is gonna be the same.
Yeah, well,
Or you
that's what I'm
gonna have
suggesting, do we
not-
want to, or do we want to make it a different fee? Because again, as I said, the daily fee, if you don't have a beach pass and you just want to go to the beach, per person is $10 for a non-resident, per person is $7 for a resident. So we have a family of 4, non-residents are paying $40 bucks to get in.
Right.
It would have been, made more sense to buy a beach pass, where then, you know, you don't pay any more after that. I was thinking something, I just lost my train of thought.
Rick, how hard would it be to, you know who has anyone bought a beach pass so far?
I think we have had a couple.
Yeah.
But you know who they
Yeah.
are. You have a record.
Yeah, we would, yes, yeah.
Well, what would be the problem with having a separate punch-out thing with 12 freebies on it?
In addition to,
In addition to this policy after you use up your 12?
kind of like your donut thing. Buy 12, get one.
Only for
Uh,
residents or for residents and non-residents?
Well, anybody who has a beach pass would
have
get
to
this
purchase
extra
additional.
punch
Get
card.
that 12, so you get 12 free guests for the year?
Yes,
And then after that, then you start paying
this rate.
this rate?
I don't know implementation-wise if that would be possible to do, but, you know, I know it isn't on the current beach
Right.
pass that you've gotten printed, but
A
you
supplemental
could
card.
print a supplemental card. I mean, it seems to me that people who have a beach pass are likely at times to bring a guest, and, you know,
Well, actually, you know, you made me just think of something. They're plastic. I wonder if we just got a puncher and we could still punch a hole in it anyway. Maybe we could still do that.
Gotcha.
And once you have 12 holes,
Is there
it
room
just
on
doesn't
the
have
card?
1 through 12 on it. I mean, it's like a credit card. Can you,
Yeah.
I mean, can you punch a hole in those?
Yeah, you should be
Yeah,
able
you
to
should be
punch
able
through the
to.
laminated.
So maybe we could
Card.
still do that, which would be similar to what we had before. It just doesn't have the numbers on it. We just
12 holes.
put a hole in it.
Yeah.
well, I'm just thinking, we're trying to encourage use. I know Lake Quantico gets pretty busy on weekends in the summer,
Yeah.
but we're really trying to encourage participants to go to Jacobs Beach.
Correct.
Yeah, I
That's
think it
under,
was
we've been
busy.
saying for a long time is
Right.
underused. As we improve it, that is very likely to change. But it seems to me the fee thing could also be an obstacle to people using the beach.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't want
Well,
that.
at some point, we'll probably go a little more
Would be-
tech savvy, and we'll have a
Yeah.
little iPhone, and we'll be scanning.
You're probably right. You know, Ellen's
Your
gonna push
beach
it
pass
back.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I bet Ellen
Your
is
beach
already.
pass will have a little
As
boop.
we start doing that, that's right.
Well, could we get a sense from the commission so that Rick can go back to staff and come back to us with a proposal that we could actually vote on, which will be well before the opening of the beach?
Well, though,
June 14th.
Quantico opens Memorial Day weekend.
Oops.
You know, depending what kind of weather it is, we'll have a big crowd or not.
Yeah.
You know, if it's warm, there can be a good crowd there. I don't know, maybe the more I'm thinking about it, maybe, because I'm not sure we want to make it unlimited, you know, where they could, I mean, how many guests, if somebody has, are they going to bring in 10 guests on that
Well, we had
pass?
that problem
Then
before,
you're
that's why
back
we went to.
Yeah.
The beginning.
Yeah, that's why we
Right.
went to the whole.
So maybe if we do the
12
punch thing again, then they bring 12 guests in one time, then that's it. You know, after that, you gotta pay.
Yeah.
And then what do we pay? Do we go to the $7 or we go to like $5 a person because they already have a pass?
Well, you had the non-resident 10 and the resident 7,
That's what it currently is
Yeah.
for an individual pass, yeah, for a daily fee.
so that would be the guest rate per person,
Yes, yes.
after the 12.
Yeah. Currently, that's what it would be, yeah.
Seems reasonable. I mean,
You wanna
that hasn't caused a problem thus far, right?
No.
I think it
Well-
satisfies that we have responded to the citizen who felt that out-of-towners were kind of crowding out
Mm-hmm.
residents.
Well, I want me to make a motion on that?
Well, wait, how much, just, I propose charging non-town department $25.
That's a different thing.
Oh.
It's okay.
No, we're only talking about the top.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
Yeah,
So
it's
only
a
the
different
top
thing.
part.
Yeah.
So
That's the
how
message
much is,
we're-
how much is beach pass?
let's see,
Depends.
a senior resident is $10, so non-resident is double whatever senior is, so a senior, whatever a resident is. Senior is $10 resident, so 20 non-resident. An individual, just a person buying a beach pass is 25 and 50. And a family is 50 and 100. And a family is anybody who lives in a house and any kids up to age 17.
Okay. I was looking at the wrong thing and it was.
Yeah, that's,
confusing me.
that's the next discussion.
Well, I'll make a motion that we now implement the 12 free hole punch on the existing card that we now have printed. And in addition to that, we will, after the 12 free have been used, that the charge will be non-resident $10, resident $7
Per
per
person.
person.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Okay, motion passes.
Okay, great, thank you.
I guess you would have to check and see if you can punch on the cards.
Yeah,
and
we'll
if
try
you
it. If there's a
can't-
word
And
on
if
it,
you
it's-
can't-
That's what I was hesitating
Yeah.
to go. I was
You'll have to
thinking.
issue a second, a second piece that they'll have to keep with
Yeah.
it or something, yeah.
We'll
I
have to
bet if
try
you
it.
get a new sharp staple,
Yeah, I think it would punch. I think
I
it
think you can
will.
get a super
Staples,
duper
they
one.
must
Yeah.
have a heavy
We
duty.
punch
they
through
have 'em.
laminate
They might break
at
their
school.
hand while
Yeah.
punching, but.
I wouldn't go with an old
Suck it up.
rusty one, but I think it's good.
We punch things that are laminated in school, and we use hand punchers. You
Well,
know,
the key
they-
one again is like credit card thickness.
Yeah.
Right,
Little
that's what I
bit.
was thinking. That's if
Well,
you're- I
maybe
use
there's,
credit
maybe there's a
special
tool that
punch.
Staples makes or wherever that, can
Yeah, I
cut,
see now, now when
punch
somebody said, oh, I
through
got carpal
cards.
tunnel now from punching the holes.
Right.
I know.
All
Okay,
right.
the second part
Okay,
of
thanks.
that, facility monitor.
Yeah, so that's B, under new business.
Yes.
Message.
Oh,
Again, another thought Ellen had is that, do we want to consider selling ad space on this TV screen we have now? She was just suggesting $25 per ad per month.
I'm assuming it's nonprofit ads.
Depending what we want to do. Yeah, unless you want to make it business, whatever. We can come up with fees, but
No.
the idea is that our annual fee for that, the program we have for that,
8 something?
is $828 a year. So we think we might be able to recoup that annual fee if we want to sell some ad space on it. Yeah, maybe it's nonprofits, maybe it's, Little League registration coming up, or the 375th,
Why not?
So I think this is a great, I think we need a little bit more detail. You would need some policies around, what kinds of organizations
Yeah.
and, yeah.
Yes.
Because it might, I actually am not necessarily opposed to for-profit organizations, but I just would want some kind of criteria. I'm assuming these aren't static, but they would be,
How
the
long would they
space.
get for $25?
Right, well, because of the space, it's
Yeah,
going to be
be
limited, so
scrolling
it's probably like
somehow.
one, right,
Yeah.
like,
a month.
because you don't want all of it to
Day.
become ads,
Right,
and so you want. them
right,
to
we
be
still gotta have
kind
our
of
room for all the
rolling.
stuff that we have up there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind advertising.
But it'd be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to look at if we just had
Maybe
more.
groups have
more
to, they want to
policies.
advertise an event that they're having, that they know a lot of
Yes.
people are coming through.
I think there's enough stuff that goes on in this community, you could make that money through the
Yeah.
year on
Yeah,
that. I really
absolutely.
do.
Yeah,
Without having to go
$1 a
to
day with
for-profits.
1 month minimum, or, figure out how you, like you said, make a policy about it.
We have a policy already about, like, on the sports field, I remember it came up that a profit firm had given us some stock or something and
Yeah.
had their name on it, and there was some concern about advertising for-profit firms.
It's true.
So I think that would be important for us to remember, that we kind of already have a policy
Statement on it.
against that.
right. And we do for-profit businesses can rent the community center, but it's a different fee.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not just nonprofits that come here, but they pay more. So if we did want to do something with for-profit businesses, we'd have to, I think the fee
We'd have to look at it,
appropriately be
right.
different.
I also think we
Yeah.
probably need to be careful to make sure that it doesn't look like we're endorsing something.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
So,
And
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
good
that
point.
was what the concern was
Yeah.
about
With the other
the
sports
banners, the sport
Yeah.
thing. And For-profits have other venues and money
Yeah.
to spend on advertising that
None don't.
that nonprofits have.
So, yeah, maybe we'll look at nonprofits only, yeah. As Sue said, I think there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
So maybe come back to us in June with a proposal?
Okay.
The park walk. In the past, we've gone 2 nights on the park walk.
Yeah, we split
because
it.
We split it north and south. And it doesn't really
Well,
seem
last year we
feasible
just
to
did
get to
one.
all the parks north and south in one night before
No.
dark falls, so,
Remember when you were
Yeah.
started here?
We
I think was
split it up,
fair.
it's better.
Yeah.
yeah. For newer members, what we like to do is walk all of our park facilities to see how things are looking, to make maybe suggestions about things we think could be changed, improved, to get a better sense, if you're new on the commission, of how many of our lovely parks there are. So,
You wanna set
2
it?
nights. Is Monday night a good night? Our Monday night's generally good.
I think what we did in the past was, we met early before our
Yes.
meeting here. So
Yes, we did.
maybe do next month's Monday night meeting and just meet earlier.
Okay, so the next meeting
Not to
is.
say we have to, but I know we did that last year.
We did it, well, last year we started up north,
Mm-hmm.
and the year before we started
Up
south. So
south.
we only did it one night, both of those years. Because those are the 2 years I've been here. So we only went one night. With the first year we started down south, we did as
Yeah.
much as we could.
Yep.
And then last year we started up north at Quantipoc.
Oh,
and
so we
worked
didn't
our way
see
down.
all of them?
No.
No, we saw half of them.
That was in prior years, we did it the other way.
Yeah.
But we did used to do it.
And we did it
Yeah.
before the meeting on Monday. So we started about 5, I think, on
Yeah.
our walk.
Yeah.
So, but that would mean there would be half the parks we wouldn't see this year.
So if we did one
could do it
on a
tonight.
Monday night and then one on, before the meeting next month and one maybe
In
prior
July.
to that, or the following month.
The following month.
Or both can be before our Monday night meeting.
Okay, so our meeting in July is the 1st. So that's really at the beginning of our season, pretty much.
Sure. Why don't we do one in June and one in July?
Okay. Everybody kind of agree with that?
June
Meet
6th.
June's
early?
the 3rd.
June 3rd.
June
Meet
3rd.
at, say, 5 o'clock?
Mhm.
Won't we all be quite anxious
Where?
to see Jacobs Beach before the
Mhm.
beach opens?
Yes.
So perhaps we should plan on doing the south parts?
Mm-hmm.
So when we do that, we do Jacobs, Chittenden, Chaffinch Island, Daniel Avenue, and do we go up as far as Long Hill
Well, I
Road?
wonder, or if any of you individually who want to just, I mean, Shell Beach, there isn't a lot to see there, we
No.
don't usually go there. But I did have a resident email me complaining about where we posted the sign, the Shell Beach sign, which we put it right next to a tree, thinking that was probably the best place to put it, wouldn't block any views, and somebody thinks it blocks views, so I don't know if anybody, I haven't moved it, but I don't know if we all have to go there, but if anyone's in the area wants to look sometime,
We'll check it out.
see if you think we should
Yeah.
look at a different spot.
Okay.
And the other part is the so-called park we have down at the end of Trolley
Trolley
Road,
Road.
which
Yeah.
I've never known where it is.
It's right at the very end, trolley.
Well, Rick, maybe you and I could just go and look at those 2
Sure.
sites and be
Okay.
prepared to report back at the June 3rd meeting. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Mhm.
That's the,
There's not
the
much to
Shell
see.
Beach, and the very end of Trolley Road, we have a small parcel.
Okay.
So we're
So with
So
the-
we're going to, we'll meet at Jacobs Beach on the 3rd at 5 o'clock, and then on
Fine.
July 1st at 5 o'clock. You want to start way north at the lake?
Yeah.
Okay,
July 1st?
yes.
Yes.
Well, if we're gonna do the north later, I have a couple things, I don't know whether it can be looked at, but some of the pickleball enthusiasts are complaining about the crack on one of the courts behind the skate park.
Yes,
It's
a lot of
getting
cracks
bigger.
developing there.
Yeah, on the far side, there's a big crack, and if it continues, it's not gonna be very safe. And they did tie up the, Rob had initially put up like a plastic thing
Yeah.
across the thing,
Yeah,
and
is
the
it falling
kids,
apart there?
kids pulled it all down, but these people tied it all back up again. And I also said I'd ask, and I think it's a really good idea, that there is getting to be quite a bit of interest, and this particular individual wondered if we could paint 2 courts on Adams tennis court, so you could use it for tennis and pickleball. The racket club has painted 2 pickleball courts on their tennis court. And I don't know whether there's enough room at Adams, but if there is, the net's here, the tennis net. And then the pickleball net would go here, so you could get, and then another pickleball net on the other side, and you could get 2 more courts in
So
town.
going cross court, basically, across the tennis courts.
Half,
Yeah.
half, each
Yeah.
half.
Mhm.
So I thought it was a great idea, if there's space, et cetera, at Adams, and you just use darker green lines or something. I mean, you get used to it on the tennis court with the lines and the
Yeah,
pickleball
we do have 2
lines.
sets of lines right now, because we have the,
Start quarters,
we have them for the little kids. I forgot
little
what they're
kids,
called.
start line, yeah.
What about the police
Quick,
station?
Quick start,
quick start, yeah.
quick start.
We have those at Adams. We did that a couple of years ago for our Pee-wee
Well, I
tennis
shouldn't
there.
compare the racket club to here, but the racket club also has the quick start lines. So you've got the
On the same
tennis
court.
court lines, the quick start lines, and the pickleball lines. It does get a little confusing, but if you're playing a lot, you just zero in on what lines are yours. So I'm just
Yeah.
throwing that out as a idea as the park walk, but I don't know whether you should check in on the Cracket behind the
Yeah, I made a
skate
note
park.
of that.
And
Didn't
I
fix
have
the
been
name.
up, I mean, I was up there Sunday, and just another addition of discussion we've had before about the number of kids using the skate park. There were a boatload of kids up there.
Good.
So it is
Oh,
being
nice.
used.
Excellent.
That's great. Maybe it's more in vogue again. It's kind of cyclical.
I'll give you some of those forms again.
Check out. And I was in Clinton, and they have their skate park, and I was reading their sign about wearing helmets, and it pretty much, what we rewrote,
Mhm.
it conformed to what they.
Yeah.
And none of their kids had helmets on, so.
Mhm. There is a young guy that probably graduated around 2005, maybe, from Guilford High School, because I think it was around my son's class, and he spoke to Matt Ursone, who's our intern, which he was going to be here tonight, because as an intern, I said, you should come to a Parks and Rec Commission meeting. But it's also the last night of basketball at Baldwin. He supervises that on Mondays and Fridays, so he's there. So he'll probably come next month. But this young man had mentioned to him, knowing he was doing some work in our office, that he wants to do another big special event at the skate park like we did years ago, like 15 years ago. We'd have 50 to 100 kids up there with the special event. We had a DJ, music, and we borrowed the big light generator the fire department has, so it was into dark, we could do it. I think Larry Santa Maria came up and cooked food, and we had prizes, and we set up bleachers for the parents to sit and watch, and it was a big event. And we did that at least twice, I think. And we had a guy from the X Games that came and did demonstrations and signed autographs, and he was a judge for the contest that we did. So this young man mentioned to Matt that he'd like to do something like that again. He'd be willing to organize it. To Matt, have him call me.
Yeah.
We're all over
Great.
that. If we can get more use of that place, absolutely.
That'd be
Well,
wonderful.
And more things for teenagers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Okay.
So I guess my big thing is checking on the crack.
I was up there again last week when I was walking the field. I took a look at the skate park, and I saw, on the skate park side too, there are a lot of cracks. It's going to take something to fix all those, but I'll
ones
get
that are looking
a
dangerous.
tennis court company that does those kinds of repairs. I'll get a quote to do that.
Okay.
There's a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn?
Well, can I just mention one more thing? I forgot to mention, it was in my report, but we did hire Dustin Huguenin as recreation specialist. Judy sat in on the interview panel with us, and he started a week ago today. And he's been coming back every day, so that's a good sign.
They had him working like crazy today.
Nice guy.
Stop in and
Good
say
kid.
hi, everybody. introduce yourself so he knows who the
Okay.
commission members are. Okay, so.
All right, motion to adjourn now.
Second?
Second.
Okay. I know everyone's in favor.
Yes.
We need to tell Ralph.